candidate and businessman Eric Hovde joins us now. Quite an endorsement, enthusiastic endorsement, Eric.
Yeah, it was an interesting night. It was a very nice endorsement by President Trump. Pleased to get his endorsement and take back this country.
Well, here's some indication of why that endorsement will mean something in Wisconsin, because Donald Trump already leads Joe Biden in 6 of 7 swing state polls, and it's pretty close there, according to this one poll in Wisconsin. Others show, I believe, Donald Trump leading in your home state. This is different than in the past, at least for the Democrats and Joe Biden. Wisconsin has been a swing state, but why does it seem to be flowing support away from Biden?
I think for a variety of reasons. One thing, I've spent a lot of time in the minority communities, and it's very clear young black men are moving away from the Democratic Party in droves. They want to get off of welfare. They don't want to be stuck with handouts. They want to take part in the entrepreneurial experience and create wealth. Hispanic community, I think the cultural issues are just driving them away from the Democratic Party. So I think there's a broad base of people. And then the young, a lot of young people just do not like Joe Biden. I have a 25-year-old daughter. She has many, many friends. Probably 2/3 of them are liberal. But as she says, Dad, none of them like Joe Biden. They think he's too old, a little creepy. So I just think he's losing massive amounts of support that he had back in 2020.
Well, the polling reflects what you think. It reflects that he has dropped in the black community down from something like 90% to 68%. Latino support has dropped. But importantly, as you point out, the youth vote as well. I believe, according to most estimates, it's gone down from 61% support down to about 50% support. And that's what this student loan forgiveness plan seems to be addressing, the constitutionality of which will be answered in the future. I mean, it has already been answered, at least in part, when attempted to be applied. We'll see about these new applications of executive authority in forgiving student loan debt. But in terms of popularity, Eric, do you think that's going to work with him and the youth?
Not if it's pointed out. Look, I have a few questions I would like to ask President Biden. Why is it fair for those people that never had the opportunity to go to college now have to pay for those that did? Why is it fair for those people that worked their way through college, or their parents worked hard to put their children through college, and now have to pay for those that are getting the student debt relief? How about the fairness of people that took on debt and then paid back that debt and now have to pay again? And lastly, as we know, the greatest amount of student debt are those that go on to get a medical degree or a law degree, and they get the benefit of higher income through the rest of their life. So why is it fair that everybody should pay for their debt relief and they don't get the benefit of those higher incomes? So I think it's unfair at every single level. I think the Republican Party should point this out to people, and I think it should ultimately cost him votes, because all it is a vote buying scheme, as you pointed out. And you know what the other thing that's really wrong about it? If you look at where the highest rates of inflation in our country since 1980, they've been in two areas. One, healthcare, and the other, higher education. What is the correlation between those two? It's ever increasing government expenditures. Mm-hmm. And all you're doing is benefiting universities to continue to push price and drive up the cost. And that's what it is. It's subsidizing universities. They're already charging far too much for their product in most cases.
Well, you're absolutely right. It's only going to drive the price of college, which is astronomical and way outpacing inflation. It's only going to drive it higher. The question is whether or not the beneficiaries of those forgiveness loans whether or not they'll care. Their debt's forgiven. Vote Joe Biden. That seems to be the plan. All right, Eric Hovde.